All right, everybody, let's look at hole notes today. First thing we're gonna do is gonna save it. We'll call it hole notes. And then we're going to make a rectangular prism. It doesn't matter which orientation you do this on. I'm actually gonna do it kind of the wrong way to show you how you can make adjustments. It's gonna be 2 inches, it's gonna be 5 inches. And then gonna anchor that to there. Finish it. The extrusion is gonna be 3 inches going backward. And then we're going to draw some points onto this. But I'm using the line tool, and if you toggle the X button, it'll turn it into a construction line. So I get a construction line right through the middle there. And then I can use my points. Make sure you toggle off the construction. And I'm going to put 4 points along here. It doesn't matter where you put them because we're going to dimension them. So 0.75, 1.75. This one is 3.25. And this one is 4.25. All right, there's our points. Notice that my block is this is really the top of the block and this is the front, but we'll get to that in a bit. So now we're going to use the hole tool and we're going to create a hole here. The first hole we're going to make is a counter bore, and it's a simple counter bore. And the depth of that hole is a 2-inch hole. It's going to be a 1/2 inch wide. And then we have a counter bore that's 0.375. No, it's not 0.375. It's 0.75. I think it's 0.75, and it goes down 0.5 for this first one. Yeah, that's it. So you can see it kind of what it's going to be in there. And if you hit OK, it's going to make that first counter bore hole. It's kind of hard to see. So you can change your visual style and do with hidden edges. That gives you a little bit of information there. The other thing you can do is you can go to wireframe and do with hidden edges as well. You can see that there's the hole. Kind of see it really faint in there when you do your wireframe. So it's very faint, but you can see it in that space. The problem with this is that we lost our sketch. So we're going to turn that back on so we can do our next hole. So the next hole that we do is going to be a countersunk hole. And it's going to be threaded. It's a tapped hole. It is going to be a 1/2 13 UNC with a 1B. And our countersink is going to be 1-inch countersink. And the depth is going to be through. So to do that, we're going to change this to all. And then it goes all the way through on this one. If we click the modeled button, we'll actually model the threads. But most of the time, unless you're going to 3D print this part, you don't need to click on the model. If we're going to machine this and tap and drill and tap it, then this is really what we need. This is going to tell us what drill diameter we need when we drill all the way through, and then we can come back with a 12-13 tap and put the threads in that hole. But there's the second hole. The third hole is just a clearance hole. So it's going to be a simple hole that's a clearance hole for a 1/2 inch. It doesn't matter what machine screw because they're all the same diameter. So we're going to do a 1/2. And we're going to do the fit as normal. So you can see that instead of 0.5, because it needs to be a clearance hole, you got about 31 thousandths of clearance. Now you could do a close fit, which will only give you 16 thousandths of clearance, or a loose fit with 47 thousandths, but we're going to just do normal on this. Simple clearance hole for a 1/2 inch bolt. This is going to go all the way through. So we're going to click on all. It's all the way through. And then our final hole is going to be another counter bore. This one's going to be a small one though. So it's going to be we're not threading and we're not clearancing. So we're just going to go simple here. It's going to be, I think, 1-inch depth. This is 0.38. This is 0.25. And this is going to be a 0.25. So pretty small little hole. It's a blind hole. because it doesn't go all the way through, very similar to the first one. This you could put 0.375 because it's actually 3/8. But when we do our drawing file, it's going to round that to 0.38 if we only have 2 decimal places. So, but you could put that. It's not a big deal. But there we go. There is our 4th hole. There's the settings for it. Again, you can pause if I went a little too fast. And I'm going to go back to my visual style where I have shaded with visible edges. And you can see there's my holes. 2 of them go all the way through. 2 are blind. And I'm going to turn off that sketch and save my file. All right. Now, if you notice, this is actually the bottom, but we want this to be the front view and this to be the top. So watch how I do this. I'm going to do a look at this face, and I'm going to right click and set that current view as the front view. So now it reoriented this cube and said, this is the front. I can click on this corner, and then I can right click and say, set current view as home and fit that to view. So now when I hit the home button, it'll be in this orientation here. If I didn't do that, when I'd hit home, it would flip it around and it would look like this. But now when I hit the home button, it goes to this orientation, which is good. I got the front, top, and right side, just like I would have in an isometric sketch that I would have. Save that up. And now we're ready to make a drawing file. So drawing from design, sheet size is A, and then we're going to be in portrait mode. So make sure 8.5 by 11 in this mode. We're going to say okay. We're doing a manual, so make sure that's not on automatic for dimension and stuff. It's going to want to place a view. I'm actually going to place the top view. I want to see the holes in this. So instead of the front view, I'm going to go to top view. So I can drop and place those there. I'm going to do visible with hidden edges. And you can see it puts in all the center marks for me, which is great. And now I'm just going to do some basic dimensioning. So I'm going to dimension from the top to the center of this hole. And then I'm going to do a baseline dimension from here to the top. Say okay. And do the same thing from here. I'm going to go from this side to here. And then I'm going to do a baseline dimension, use this as my base, and go to every center of these. And then the edge, and say okay. And then I'm just going to move my dimensions around so they are not overlapping on each other. These look good. Under my document settings, I can go to dimension units and I can adjust here. So you can see that I can add trailing zeros. I can change my linear precision to 2 decimals. And now it has all that information there that I need. Okay, so this is all of those. Now, here's the great thing about Fusion. They changed this about 4 years ago, but there's now a hole and thread note option under text. I'm going to click on the outer diameter of the circle, and I'm going to go up, and then I'm going to click to drop it. Outer diameter, click to drop it. Outer diameter, click to drop it. Outer diameter, click to drop it. Perfect. Now, I want to show a section view cutting right through here so I can look at those holes and see that they're actually blind holes here and that they're through holes for these 2. So I'm going to go to section view. You go under create and then section view if it's not on your tab up here. I click on the parent view. I click on the midpoint right here. So that triangle icon is a midpoint. So I'm clicking the midpoint there and the midpoint over here. And then I'm going to hit the green check mark. And now it creates a section view, which I can either go up or down. I'm going to go down and drop it about right there. I can do visible edges on this one and say, okay. Now it should automatically create your center lines for those. And you can see that, you know, the section view, we know because of the cross hatching here that shows that it's a cutaway. So we essentially cut, imagine taking a saw, cutting right through there and then looking. The arrows show you the direction that you're now looking at it. So you kind of rotate it so it's looking at you here, and this is what you see. The other thing we need is we just need a dimension for the overall height of this block. And then this down here is, I mean, it might fit, it might not. You can double click on it you can highlight it and you can change the height. So you can kind of shrink that up if it doesn't fit on your page. You want to make sure nothing's crossing over. So like this right here, I'm just going to move just a touch. So it's not interfering with that. This, I'm going to be a little more communicative on, I don't know if that's a word, but I'm going to communicate a little bit better that it's a 0.3 or 0.53 through hole. Like if I were a machinist, that's great. Like I know what drill I'm going to use to drill that. But I can also put a little note that this is, the purpose of this is that it's a 0.50 clearance, normal. So that's how we made that. That's how we got that dimension, is a clearance hole for a 1/2-inch bolt or machine screw with normal, kind of slot there, normal clearance versus the loose or the, I think it's tight. It's the other option. The other thing here is you could put, this says 3, so you could just change this to through. So we have a 0.4255 through hole, just like we had up here. But it doesn't matter. If they see that it's 3 inches deep and they look here and they're like, oh, it goes all the way through. That's a pretty easy thing to notice. But there you go. That's how you create your hole notes. That's how you create your drawing file. When you're all done, you can go up here to export to PDF. You click on that. You say, okay. Make sure you select where you want to save to your computer. So if it's the first time you're exporting, it gives you like it gives you a location that's kind of funky in an Autodesk file. So go ahead and hit, that triple dot and change that to your downloads folder and you'll be good to go. Give it a name. By the way, I should have saved this before I did that. So right now it's untitled, but if you hit save, it's going to call it Hole Notes Drawing. You can save that. And then when you export it, just put your last name on it, upload it to Google Classroom, and you are good to go. That's how we do hole notes. Have a great rest of the day. Talk to you later.